Every crisis has a first moment, not when it's confirmed, not when the executives are in the room. Before that, I'm Anne-Marie Vanden Hurk. For 30 years, I've been in those rooms, and I've seen why organizations that do everything right still lose control of the outcome. This is episode 1 of the first 20 minutes. Let's start the clock. Minute 3. Something looks off. Not confirmed, not declared, but not nothing. And the feeling in the room or the thread or in the sock is uncertainty. Not panic, not urgency, uncertainty. Someone saw something, they're looking closer, they're not sure what they're looking at yet, and they're not sure what to do with it. So they do what feels responsible. They wait. They watch it a little longer. They ask a quiet question to a colleague. They don't escalate, not because they're being careless, but because they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be the person who pulled the fire alarm and interrupted 3 executives for something that turned out to be noise. That calculation happens in seconds. Most people don't even notice they're making it. And that's completely understandable. It's also where time starts to disappear. Here's what's actually happening in minute 3. The signal is real enough to be noticed, but there's no shared threshold for what real enough means. No one has defined in advance this specific type of signal at this specific level requires this specific action. So the person who sees it makes a judgment call. And in the absence of structure, judgment defaults to caution. Watch it a little longer. Get a little more information. Be sure before you move. What feels like due diligence in minute 3 becomes the delay that costs you in minute 15. This is the gap, not the signal, not the tools, not the team, the threshold. Most organizations have invested heavily in detection. They have monitoring, they have alerts, they have trained people who know how to spot anomalies. And almost none of them have defined precisely in advance what turns a signal into an escalation. Not an investigation, an escalation. Those are different things. Investigation is, let's understand what this is. Escalation is someone with decision authority needs to know this exists right now before we fully understand it. That distinction matters because by the time the investigation has enough to feel certain, the window for the best decisions has often already closed. So here's the organization question for your organization. In minute 3, when someone sees something that looks off, what is the actual threshold that moves it up? Not in your IR plan, in practice, in the moment. When someone is sitting with that uncertainty, what tells them this goes up now? If you can't answer that precisely, you're not alone. Most organizations can't. That's where the first 20 minutes start to break. Quietly, before anything is confirmed, in the space between visibility and understanding. That's where structure either holds or doesn't. Next episode, minute 7. The signal hasn't gone away. Now more people know, and the question shifts from what is this to who owns it? If you want to see how your organization's decision structure holds at that threshold, start with the diagnostic. Link below.